Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for your incredible support of this series. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to stay updated. In the previous episode, our GigaChat MC embarked on the 5-star quest, marking his first significant stride towards strength. For those who missed it, you can find the link in the description below. Now, let's delve into the next chapter of our story. As Suong arrived at the transmission center, he was greeted by an unexpected sight. A multitude of hunters had congregated, not by choice, but due to an unforeseen energy fluctuation that had disrupted the portal's operations. The delay, a rare inconvenience at the center, had caught everyone off guard, including Suong. However, unlike many others, he remained unfazed by the holdup. With no immediate rush to begin his journey to the Cold Moon Jungle, he saw an opportunity to meticulously plan his trip during this unexpected pause. But not everyone shared his calm demeanor. Among those affected was Shu Yin, a city girl who stood out in the crowd with her evident displeasure. Hailing from a bustling metropolis, she was unaccustomed to the inefficiencies and issues of smaller towns. Her frustration grew with the unwanted attention from local men, prompting her to caution her sister, Su Qian, to stick close and avoid getting separated in the crowded space. Understanding her sister's concern, Su Qian complied, but her attention soon shifted when she spotted a familiar figure in the crowd. It was Suong, patiently waiting in line for the portal, a sight that unexpectedly warmed her heart and brought a blush to her cheeks. Shu Yin, noticing her sister's sudden interest, promptly inquired about the focus of her gaze, causing Su Qian to blush and stumble over her words. Despite her flustered state, she tried to downplay her reaction by explaining that Suong was merely a former classmate. The day before, Suong had also changed professions, a fact that struck Su Yin as odd given Su Yang's current endeavor, lining up for a portal bound to the notoriously dangerous Cold Moon Jungle, a destination ill-suited for novices. Concerned that Suong might be unaware of the risks, Su Qian felt compelled to warn him against proceeding without adequate preparation. However, before they could act on their intentions, the portal unexpectedly resumed operations, swiftly transporting Suong to his destination. This left Su Qian in a state of shock and worry for his safety. Unbeknownst to her, Suong stepped confidently into the Cold Moon Jungle, immediately noticing the absence of other hunters. The solitude in such a perilous environment piqued his curiosity, suggesting that the other hunters had sensed imminent danger and dispersed, leaving him to face the threats alone. His suspicions were soon confirmed when a monster launched a surprise attack from behind. Swift on his feet, Suong managed to evade the assault. However, as he confronted the creature head-on, he recognized it as the target from his quest, a development he hadn't anticipated so soon. Dealing with such a formidable monster without relying on trading props and equipment was proving tricky. As expected, the monster proved fierce and agile, swiftly closing the distance between them. Unfortunately for the monster, Suong had tricks of his own. Drawing his long, red flaming sword, he sliced through the large black creature effortlessly, then swiftly cooked it with the sword's buff ability, a bit of unnecessary overkill. However, Suong was eager to unleash the full power of this sword, having invested a significant amount of money to obtain it, despite its lack of a gem slot. Initially, he had hoped to use it immediately with a gem that ignored level requirements, but without a slot, the gem was useless. Thus, he had to resort to using a high-level drilling stone to carve one in. Unfortunately, luck was not on his side during the process, draining his wealth from 100 million down to 60 million as attempt after attempt failed. Nevertheless, Suong considered himself fortunate to finally wield the weapon, choosing to focus on the positive. He still had Xiaoming's longbow, which he could potentially sell to recoup his losses. The thought of Xiaoming buying it back was amusing to him. Despite his financial concerns, Suong had to set them aside as he found himself under attack once again by monsters. Fortunately, he had a silver level scroll in his possession, a charging barrier that could absorb up to 50,000 points of damage. The low-level monsters, with their limited intelligence, continued to mindlessly attack the barrier, unwittingly placing themselves exactly where Suong wanted them. With a decisive swing of his sword, Suong unleashed a fiery whirlwind that swept through the pack of monsters, eliminating 15 wolves in one devastating stroke. However, his quest demanded the defeat of 100 wolves, a task he realized would be cumbersome and time-consuming if done individually. To expedite the process, Suong retrieved a monster attraction stone from his inventory. This rare item, typically dropped by low-level bosses, had the unique ability to draw both ordinary and elite monsters from a wide radius directly towards him. Recognizing the tactical advantage, Suong hurled the stone into the sky, shattering it and activating its magic. Almost instantly, the stone began to work its charm. Wolves began pouring in from all directions, surrounding Suong. Retreat was not an option, but he was undeterred in his determination to fulfill his quest swiftly and decisively. Boosting his spirit points with an intermediate spirit potion, Suong unfurled a special baptism of fire skill scroll. The scroll enabled him to unleash a devastating area of effect fire attack, enveloping him in a towering pillar of fire that incinerated any monster bold enough to approach. This strategic maneuver allowed him to meet the daunting requirement of slaying 100 wolves in record time. The monster attraction stone had proven incredibly effective, drawing every monster in the forest to him. Unperturbed by the overwhelming number of monsters converging on him, Suong remained calm, relying on his extensive collection of scrolls to counter the threat effectively. Meanwhile, deep within a remote section of the Cold Moon jungle, a group of hunters grew increasingly puzzled by the uncharacteristic silence that had replaced the usual clamor of monstrous growls. Accustomed to constant confrontations with aggressive creatures, their 2-kilometer journey without a single monster encounter set off alarm bells. The mystery only deepened when one of the hunters recalled witnessing a monster that, instead of attacking, had fled in the opposite direction, a behavior unheard of among the usually hostile forest inhabitants. Putting together these unusual clues, the group's most experienced hunter deduced that a monster attraction stone must be responsible for drawing all the creatures towards a single point, effectively clearing the path for Suong while depriving them of potential rewards. Enraged by what they saw as a selfish tactic, the group resolved to confront and teach the perpetrator a memorable lesson, one they vowed he would not soon forget. However, before they could act on their resolve, a sudden and immense surge of power erupted from the direction they were heading. The force of the attack was so potent that it reached the skies above, its shockwave impossible to ignore. Even from a distance, the trio felt the impact, prompting curses to escape their lips as they realized the magnitude of what had transpired. With the magical fluctuation indicating the presence of a third-level magician, the hunters realized that confronting whoever caused it was no longer feasible. They reluctantly abandoned their plans for confrontation and decided to retreat, opting to return another time to complete their tasks. Meanwhile, in the aftermath where Suong stood, the scene had drastically changed from moments before. The swarm of monsters that had surrounded him had vanished without a trace. Not a single corpse remained, and the once lush landscape was now scorched and barren, extending for miles in every direction. This widespread destruction marked the successful completion of 2/3 of Suong's ambitious 5-star job transfer task, leaving only the formidable boss as the final challenge. A sense of anticipation and satisfaction lit up Suong's face. Despite having utilized several scrolls to reach this point, the task had proven less daunting than he had anticipated. Now, with only the boss battle remaining, he wondered if this would finally provide the challenging encounter he had been seeking all along. Eagerly, Suong made his way towards the Cold Moon Cave, known to be the lair of the fearsome Blue Wolf King, a challenge typically recommended for teams of 3 or more hunters, all over level 20. As he approached his destination, a group of 3 figures could be seen peeking around a nearby corner. Among the trio, Zhang the Mage, Li Sun the Tank, and Zhao the Archer, each played a crucial role in their planned confrontation with the boss. Li Sun was particularly confident due to a primary strength concoction gifted by Zhang, which promised extended survivability. However, Zhao the Archer, having recently changed professions and unsure of his new skill strength, harbored skepticism about their chances. Zhang, driven by his motivation to obtain the Wolf King's crystal core for crafting a silver-level staff, attempted to bolster Zhao's confidence, urging him to focus on the potential rewards of victory. Before he could finish his encouragement, Zhao signaled for silence, noticing an unexpected figure approaching the cave. All eyes turned to Suong, who strode confidently towards the boss lair, causing alarm among the trio, fearing he might seize their target first. Upon closer inspection, they observed Suong was young and conspicuously lacked armor, suggesting he might be inexperienced or lost. Li Sun, the tank, suggested they inform the newcomer, but Zhang dismissed the idea with disdain, considering it foolish and selfishly intent on securing the prize for themselves. As they strategized to use the newcomer as bait, the ground suddenly trembled beneath them, caught off guard by the unforeseen quake caused by Suong's actions. His previous eradication of numerous wolves had stirred the fury of the Wolf King, increasing its power by 30%. Confused bystanders, the trio couldn't comprehend why the boss was enraged by the arrival of the inexperienced newcomer. Zhang, frustrated that their plans seemed to have gone awry, saw this as a disruption to their chance at claiming the spoils. Determined to salvage the situation, he emerged from hiding, urging his crew to act swiftly before the opportunity slipped away. Convinced that the newcomer would falter easily, Zhang urged immediate action. However, before Zhang could make a move, a sudden intense gust of wind blew across his face, pulling back his hood and drawing his attention forward. To their astonishment, the entire crew shared the same expression of disbelief. The newbie they had underestimated had completely turned the tables, delivering a decisive blow that brought down the boss effortlessly, surprising everyone with his calm and collected demeanor. After effortlessly defeating the boss, the trio and Suong alike were stunned by the newcomer's unexpected prowess. They learned a valuable lesson not to judge based on appearances, realizing that Suong was formidable in his own right. Meanwhile, Suong remained composed despite the underwhelming loot dropped by the boss after the supposed challenge of the 5-star quest turned out to be trivial. Disappointed by the mediocre items, but satisfied with completing his task, Suong prepared to leave for the transfer hall. However, before he could depart, Zhang overheard Su Yang's dismissive comments about the Wolf King's crystal core. Seizing the opportunity, Zhang asked if Suong would kindly give it to him. Unbeknownst to Zhang, Suong had heard every disrespectful word and understood Zhang's earlier attempt to use him as bait. Confronting Zhang about his manipulative behavior and questionable character, Suong refused Zhang's request, refusing to be taken advantage of. In a decisive display of strength and defiance, Suong shattered the crystal core in front of Zhang's eyes, establishing his dominance and sending a clear message not to cross him again. With this bold act, Suong asserted his independence and integrity, refusing to be swayed by deceitful tactics or false friendships. His actions reinforced his resolve to navigate the challenges of the Cold Moon Jungle and beyond on his own terms. After the tense confrontation with Zhang, who chose not to escalate the situation despite feeling violated, Suong walked away confidently. Meanwhile, Zhang's crew struggled to comprehend the reality of encountering such an exceptionally strong rookie. They wished it were a dream, knowing that no one would believe their tale of a newcomer defeating a boss with a single swing. Moments later, Suong arrived back at Hunter's Square, where he encountered the nun once more. Expecting questions, she was instead surprised when Suong informed her he had completed his 5-star task and was ready for his job transfer. Her shock was understandable, given the difficulty and rarity of such tasks being completed so quickly. Initially skeptical, the nun checked the records and confirmed that Suong had indeed fulfilled the task. This realization changed her perception of him. She acknowledged his power and competence, recognizing that his accomplishment wasn't mere bravado or luck. Despite the whispers of cheating, the system's verification and Su Yang's uninjured return validated his strength. Feeling uneasy under the nun's scrutiny, Suong redirected the conversation by asking to proceed with his job transfer. With confirmation of his success, the nun guided him once more to the statue, where he could initiate the next phase of his journey. As they approached the statue, the nun found herself increasingly impressed by Su Yang's remarkable strength. She began considering the advantages of having someone of his caliber exclusively aligned with her church. Fortunately, she had already informed the priest about Suong, reducing the risk of him being recruited by others. However, her thoughts soon took a surprising turn towards personal attraction. Despite her vows, she couldn't deny being captivated by Su Yang's handsome appearance and formidable abilities. She found herself surprisingly infatuated, even contemplating getting his contact information once their business was concluded. The intensity of her feelings caught her off guard, given her role as a nun. Before she could dwell further on these thoughts, they reached the statue. Without hesitation, Suong stepped closer, and suddenly a burst of light illuminated the area. Several beams of light swiftly descended, piercing Suong one after another, imbuing him with powerful energy. This spectacular display indicated that he had successfully passed the test and was now ready to undergo his profession change. Almost immediately, a golden halo began to materialize around Su Yang's wrist. This job halo was a special reward granted to players who completed their job change tasks, its color and bonuses varying based on the task's difficulty. It was a tangible symbol of Su Yang's achievement and readiness to embark on the next phase of his journey. After the transformation at the statue, Su Yang experienced an unexpected surge in power that surpassed his expectations. A golden halo materialized around his wrist, signaling his achievement of the highest-tier job halo, which granted him a staggering 25% bonus to basic attributes. This enhancement marked a significant growth in his abilities. Transitioning to the Demon Warrior class, Suong embraced a hybrid role proficient in both close combat and a diverse array of magic skills. This versatility promised to elevate his effectiveness in various combat scenarios. Moreover, his level cap was raised to 40, and he immediately advanced to level 34 thanks to the surplus 400,000 experience points from his previous quests. The sudden level increase provided Suong with 210 attribute points, which he strategically allocated to further boost his strength and spirit to 90 each, while increasing his speed to 100. This distribution, coupled with the power of his flaming sword, catapulted his strength to over 500, his spirit to 300, and his speed to 100, an immense evolution from his earlier capabilities. The rewards continued with an epic skill book tailored to his new demon warrior profession. Within it was an epic-grade skill named Magic Blade, enabling Suong to conjure a weapon from condensed magical power capable of dealing full magic damage. The skill's potency increased in tandem with his strength and mental attributes, promising devastating effects in battle. Armed with newfound abilities and strengths, Suong stood ready to face even greater challenges and adversaries in his continuing journey through the world of hunters and monsters. The new skill Suong acquired, Magic Blade, proved to be even more formidable than he had anticipated. When he summoned the Mana Blade and swung it, he discovered its extraordinary capabilities. The blade could be manipulated through mere thought and transformed at will without any restrictions on appearance. This adaptability made it highly versatile, suitable for both close-quarter combat and ranged attacks. Most impressively, Magic Blade could be infinitely enlarged, limited only by Suong's mana reserves. This feature made it akin to an indestructible heirloom weapon, showcasing exceptional cost efficiency and combat effectiveness. The rewards from completing the 5-star job transfer mission were clearly exceptional, surpassing those of lesser tasks. Encouraged by this success, Suong resolved to seek out more challenging 5-star missions in his future job changes. However, his reflections were interrupted by the nun, who congratulated him on his achievement and informed him that his name would be engraved on the temple monument. Moreover, he would be granted VIP status at the job transfer temple. Curious about the privileges of being a VIP, Suong wasted no time in asking for details. Eager to maximize the benefits available to him, he looked forward to learning how being a VIP would enhance his future endeavors. Bai Ling, the senior priest of the Transfer Temple in Dangling City, made a dramatic entrance dressed in an enchanting white gown, signaling her authority and significance within the temple hierarchy. Her unexpected arrival caused a stir, especially given the rare and impressive accomplishments Suong had just achieved. As a senior priest, Bai Ling held a position of high authority, almost equivalent to the pinnacle of power within the temple. Her decision to personally meet Suong underscored the importance of his achievement, warranting her direct involvement in addressing any inquiries or formalities that arose. With Bai Ling now present to handle matters, the nun who had accompanied Suong was gracefully dismissed. Though she understood the necessity, the nun couldn't help feeling a pang of disappointment, having hoped to continue interacting with Suong and perhaps secure his contact information before his departure. Turning her attention to Suong, Bai Ling extended her hand in a gesture of greeting, which initially puzzled him. She quickly clarified that this was a means to transport him privately to the VIP room for a more detailed discussion. Trusting in her intentions, Suong accepted the handshake, and in an instant, a magic circle materialized around them, signaling their teleportation to a more secluded and prestigious setting. The sudden transition left Suong momentarily surprised but also intrigued by what awaited him in the VIP room. As they vanished from view, in an instant, Suong and Bai Ling found themselves in a different section of the temple, having been transported through a sophisticated space transfer technique triggered by Bai Ling's handshake. Suong marveled at this advanced ability, recognizing that even a priest from a third-tier city possessed such formidable skills. It affirmed the widespread belief in the Transfer Temple's unparalleled strength and capabilities. Observing Suong's awe, Bai Ling modestly attributed her skills to the borrowed power of the temple's sacred statue. She emphasized that her abilities were not inherently powerful, but derived from the sacred energies of the temple itself. Despite her humility, Suong remained impressed by the depth of power housed within the Transfer Temple. Bai Ling then revealed a surprising piece of information. There had never been a successful completion of a 5-star job transfer in Dangling City's history. Moreover, in Tianling City, the superior city compared to Dangling, the last successful 5-star job transfer had occurred a decade ago. This revelation struck Suong, highlighting the rarity and significance of his recent accomplishment. Realizing the profound value of completing a 5-star transfer task, Suong eagerly awaited Bai Ling's explanation of the suite of benefits and rewards he would receive from the Transfer Temple. As Bai Ling prepared to detail these prestigious rewards, Suong anticipated the potential opportunities and advantages that awaited him as a distinguished VIP of the temple. Suong absorbed the information about his newfound privileges with a mix of awe and curiosity. The generous monthly allowance of 10 million in national currency and the black gold status authentication from the X-Alliance were impressive benefits that highlighted the temple's recognition of his achievement. These privileges, seamlessly integrated with his ID, promised to enhance his efficiency and cost-effectiveness in future endeavors. Lastly, he was given the opportunity to join any A-level guild in the city. With only 2 choices available, Suong opted for the Redhead Guild, only to discover it exclusively admitted female hunters, catching him off guard. Despite this unexpected twist, Bai Ling had already processed his application, leaving Suong little choice but to brace himself for the challenges of managing the waifu harem. Continuing the story in Tianling City, the Phantom Cloud Guild stood prominently with its opulent mansion-like base, clearly showcasing its status as an A-level guild. As previously mentioned, the guild consists entirely of women. Among them is Lin Yu, a level 85 hunter who leads the B-rank Yu guild named after her. Lin Yu often expresses frustration over the lack of engaging activities. Meanwhile, another member, Lin Yun, adds to the confusion. To simplify matters, Suong decides to refer to Lin Yu as Blackhead and Lin Yun as Redhead. Redhead, a formidable level 99 hunter and leader of the A-rank Phantom Cloud Guild, overhears Blackhead's complaints. She reminds Blackhead that she's merely freeloading at their guild and shouldn't complain about activities she's not involved in. Realizing her mistake, Blackhead humbles herself. However, she finds the responsibilities in her own guild overwhelmingly tedious and isn't eager to return. Before Redhead can respond, another familiar face arrives. Zukian, an ice elementalist, bursts in energetically. She promptly scolds Blackhead for neglecting her guild duties, especially welcoming new members. Zukian catches Blackhead's attention not just for her abilities, but also for her charming appearance. Impressed, Blackhead approves Zukian's entry into the guild, predicting that the blonde cutie might be the first to fall for Zukian's charm. Zukian was taken aback by the news, but before she could react, Redhead's attention shifted abruptly. Engrossed in information on a system window, Redhead asked Blackhead to find out what the commotion was about. It turned out that a male member had unexpectedly joined their guild, causing a stir among the curious guild members. Blackhead found this odd, knowing the Phantom Cloud Guild's policy of only accepting female members. She wondered if it was a mistake made by Redhead's subordinates. However, Redhead clarified that the Transcendence Temple had directly assigned the new member after completing a 5-star task and achieving VIP status, granting him the right to join any A-rank guild of his choice. This revelation left the guild members in awe of the mysterious new member's accomplishments. The question lingered. Why hadn't he chosen to join the Spirit Hunters Guild instead? Despite this, Redhead, as the guild leader, kept an open mind and refrained from jumping to conclusions without evidence. She suggested putting speculation aside for now and expressed her intention to personally meet Suong. Redhead was prepared to take action if he proved to be troublesome or disrespectful. Assuring everyone that measures could be taken if needed, Redhead continued discussing the situation. Amidst the conversation, Shu Qian recognized Su Yang's name and expressed surprise, leading Redhead to ask if she knew him. Shu Qian revealed that Suong was a friend from Dangling City who had recently ascended, suggesting he should still be at level 1 like her. Redhead initially dismissed it as a coincidence in names, but before they could proceed, another woman burst into the room. It was Mu Rongshui, a level 95 hunter and member of the Phantom Cloud Guild. She brought shocking news. The Spirit Hunt Guild had suffered a catastrophic defeat in the Black Dragon Dungeon. Though details were unclear, the mission had evidently ended in disaster. Mu Rongshui explained further that during the incident, Zhao Ming's weapon may have exploded, and shortly afterward, a similar weapon called Storm's Call appeared on the auction house. There was only one bidder initially, likely from the Spirit Hunters Guild. Mu Rongshui then revealed her strategy with pride. She had aggressively driven up the bidding with other participants, causing the price to soar well over a dozen billion, resulting in a significant financial setback for the Spirit Hunters Guild. Blackhead also commended Mu Rong for her cunning move. These girls are sharp and ruthless, she thought to herself, deciding it was best to steer clear of their intense competitiveness. Meanwhile, at the Spirit Hunters Guild, Zhao Ming was visibly upset, crying over the loss and declaring Mu Rongshui as his sworn enemy. The guild leader wore a grim expression as he disclosed that despite paying a staggering 14 billion for the weapon, they couldn't even contact the seller privately. The blow to the guild's finances was substantial. In contrast, Suong must have been ecstatic. Not only did he gain power as the Black Dragon, but he also profited from selling overpriced gear. With the harem awaiting him, he seemed to have luck on his side. Qin Yuan speculated that news of Zhao Ming's weapon explosion had prompted the orchestrated bidding frenzy. Lei Shan gave Zhao Ming a kick and snapped him out of his sulking. As they walked toward the exit, Lei Shan mentioned they had successfully recovered all lost equipment from the raid and needed to focus on their next moves. Zhao Ming, still nursing his bruised pride, rubbed his sore but from the impact of the kick. The scene shifted to the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion headquarters, where Jotai, the level 110 bloodthirsty warrior and leader of the group, dismissed Lei Shan's criticisms of their strategy. He defended their approach, citing their successful clearing of the Black Dragon Fortress dungeon 5 times and the strategic insights gained from those raids. Jotai further elaborated that they had meticulously verified every step of their strategy, assuring there shouldn't have been any issues if followed correctly. However, Lei Shan countered that despite following the strategy to the letter, the Black Dragon's behavior deviated significantly from what was described. He clarified that he respected Jotai's expertise, but wasn't willing to risk his guild's main forces on flawed instructions. A hooded figure interrupted, derisively calling Lei Shan's guild members useless for losing despite having a clear strategy and now demanding compensation from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. This figure appeared more like a typical thug, posturing with a dagger throughout his remarks. Identified as Lu Qi, level 103, he provoked Lei Shan, who took offense and warned him to watch his words. Lu Qi taunted Lei Shan to either train harder or quit if he couldn't handle defeat. Jotai, growing impatient, silenced Lu Qi and asserted the importance of integrity at the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. He assured Lei Shan that they would organize an exploration team to retrace their steps. If any flaws were found in the strategy, they would bear all losses incurred by the Spirit Hunters Guild. Jotai clarified that if their strategy proved correct, any mistakes would lie with the Spirit Hunter Guild Master, not the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Lei Shan agreed to these terms. Jotai then assigned Zhang Kursen, a level 108 5-star Holy Healer, and Zhuangzhan, a level 104 5-star Mountain Barrier Master, along with Lu Qi, to investigate the dungeon alongside Lei Shan tomorrow. As they all accepted Jotai's decision, the room's door suddenly burst open, filling the space with black smoke. Lei Shan and Qin Yuan swiftly took defensive positions, readying their spells for a potential attack. Jotai urged calm, revealing the intruder as Mr. Chen Luan from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion headquarters. Lei Shan was surprised by the presence of such a high-ranking figure. Chen Luan, a level 115 5-star necromancer, reminded Jotai of their agreement that he should notify him before any Black Dragon Fortress excursions. Jotai apologized, explaining they were only conducting a follow-up service and hadn't meant to inconvenience him. Chen Luan cut him off, dismissing the need for explanations and declaring he would accompany them the next day. Jotai readily agreed. Chen Luan expressed anticipation for the raid, referring to it as a feast for his soul. Chen Luan's anticipation grew with every harvest, enhancing his dark powers. He gave off an unsettling aura, which Jotai and Lei Shan both acknowledged. Lei Shan was taken aback by the formidable team assembled, a group of 5 5-star professionals plus an expert from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion headquarters, for the raid. With such strength, clearing the 4th-ranked dungeon seemed easily achievable. Lei Shan reflected that if they succeeded in killing the Black Dragon, it would be advantageous. However, if they were defeated, perhaps they deserved it. Whether the strategy was genuine or deceitful, the potential losses would teach these sanctimonious strategists a lesson. He smirked, relishing the idea of the Black Dragon and the exploration team potentially annihilating each other. As the day passed into night, Suong lay defeated on his bed. He was irritated by the incessant buzzing of the chat channel, especially the chatter about him among the female players. Grateful for having quickly muted it, he was jolted by another notification from the auction house, updating him on the ongoing bidding for the weapon. Suong speculated whether the bidders, Ice Witch and Elf Noble, harbored a personal rivalry, as their bids continually edged each other up by just 1 yuan increments. Eventually, the price soared to 14 billion, a staggering 40% above the average. Suong promptly confirmed the sale and expressed gratitude to Ice Witch for boosting the bid. With the transaction secured, the next notification informed him of the benefits from his temple membership coming through. As a Black Gold member, Suong was exempt from auction fees and received an additional 5% bonus on the auction price. The transaction brought him a whopping 15.15 billion, boosting his balance to 15.515 billion. Satisfied with the earnings, he marveled at how he had made an extra billion just from the 5% exemption, effectively a 10% profit. Considering taking a break and possibly finding a part-time job the next day, Suong questioned who would want to grind monsters like he used to after experiencing such financial gains. At 7 p.m., His cooldown with his part-time boss was complete, and a notification prompted him to confirm a transfer. The notification explained that the team challenging the dungeon consisted of renowned dungeon killers, 5-star professionals all above level 100 known for their conquests of numerous dungeons and strategic prowess. Given their reputation, they must have cleared this dungeon before, suggesting their sudden visit was related to the spirit hunter's recent defeat. Regardless of their motives, their decision to proceed with just 6 members indicated their utmost confidence in their abilities. Suong, smiling confidently, confirmed the connection and embarked on his second part-time challenge. Upon opening his eyes, Suong found that all the elite monsters he had previously defeated had been resurrected. Knowing that the Black Dragon Fortress was a diamond-level realm that refreshed like a game, he wasn't surprised. Only realms of star level or higher were non-replicable. Lost in these thoughts, Suong was interrupted by the elf lady asking him what he was up to. He ignored her question, amused by the thought that from the Black Dragon's perspective, the elf looked like a beautiful pet. What a pet, he mused to himself, wondering how a dragon and such a small elf could coexist. Distracted, Suong pondered the reason for her abduction, speculating that the Black Dragon likely followed established rules when he wasn't connected to his body. Maybe this dragon is a pervert too, or maybe he wants a harem, Suong thought with a hint of amusement. Can't blame him. Who wouldn't? Using his skills, Suong examined the raiding team. Confirming his suspicions, he recognized Lei Shan from the Spirit Hunter Guild among them. It was clear they were here to clean up the mess from their previous defeat. Suong also praised the after-sales service of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion for organizing the raid. Observing the raiding party composed entirely of 5th-level professionals, Suong noted their formidable combat prowess compared to last time. However, confident that they couldn't harm him without acquiring the Dragon Slayer's heart, he decided to test their strengths and identify any weaknesses, not underestimating these skilled individuals. To gauge their capabilities, Suong commanded 2 of his dragon warriors to lead all the wyverns outside to confront the intruders. The dragons obeyed and began their departure, but Suong halted one to remain behind. Meanwhile, with the raiding team swiftly dispatching monsters according to strategy, they suspected the Spirit Hunter Guild might have intentionally caused their own problems. Healer Zhang Kursin warned against complacency, urging the team to maintain defensive barriers until the boss was defeated. The random thug among them noticed a sudden flurry of dust in one direction, questioning its origin. Moments later, everyone sensed a palpable killing intent emanating from the dust cloud. Dragon warriors and wyverns burst forth, screaming, "Kill them all! Leave no intruder alive!" Panic swept through Lei Shan as he recognized the impending danger, fearing a repeat of their previous fate. He screamed in terror, realizing it was happening all over again. With even more monsters appearing, Suong positioned himself behind Jotai for safety. Jotai acknowledged the unexpected increase in threat, but remained confident that it wouldn't disrupt his exploration team. Suddenly, the brash thug stepped forward, volunteering to draw the elite monster's aggression while the rest focused on the smaller foes first. Surprisingly, his plan was met with agreement, and the team executed their attacks swiftly, efficiently eliminating all the monsters. Impressed by their skill in combat, Suong watched the massacre unfold and concluded that they were truly deserving of their 5-star expert status. Their prowess seemed almost godlike, descending to interact with mortal challenges. He noted with interest that the mysterious mage hadn't even needed to act during the battle. Deciding to handle matters personally, Suong took flight, surprising the elf girl and eliciting cheers from his underlings. "Lord Ottos is taking action again?" she exclaimed, prompting her companions to question if Ottos had ever taken initiative like this before. They admitted he hadn't, yet the scene felt strangely familiar to them. Perplexed, the elf girl questioned what could have caused the change in the dragon's behavior, noting it was unlike how he had acted when she was captured. The scene shifted to Jotai's team, where Lei Shan praised the strategy team for their exceptional strength, noting that the recent unexpected events weren't covered in their guide. Jotai agreed and promised to investigate further once the raid concluded. The creepy old necromancer mocked Lei Shan, claiming he couldn't handle even the smaller foes and yet called himself leader of the Never Fail Guild. He chuckled darkly as he added the fallen enemies to his necromancer army. In response, Lei Shan calmly pointed out that while Master Chen might not see his guild's strength, there was clearly an issue with the provided strategy. As leader of Sky Pavilion, he emphasized the need for fairness and accountability. The necromancer's menacing demeanor escalated, threatening Lei Shan with a creepy smile and glowing eyes, daring him to speak another word lest he join the ranks of his dead. Lei Shan was visibly shaken, fearing for his life. But before tensions could escalate further, Zhoutai intervened. He urged the necromancer to refrain from frightening their clients and to calm down. Leishan couldn't help but compare the necromancer to a sketchy neighborhood drug dealer selling inferior products and threatening violence against dissatisfied customers. He reflected on how close he felt to being killed in that moment. Zhoutai sternly reminded the old man to consider the consequences of his actions. Leishan, annoyed by the necromancer's threats, decided to let him gloat for now, confident he would have the last laugh after facing the black dragon. Lost in his thoughts, he suddenly noticed the colossal shadow looming overhead. "Black dragon!" he screamed, startled by its appearance. "Guys, I think he's still traumatized from our last encounter with the black dragon," someone remarked wryly. The boss seemed to be acting ahead of schedule, prompting Zhoutai to question if it was a bug. He affirmed that Spirit Hunter hadn't deceived them, leaving everyone shocked by the sudden appearance of the formidable black dragon. In a swift response, Zhoutai swiftly gave orders. Lao Zhuang was to maintain the barrier, Lucy was on standby for transformation at any moment, and the healer prioritized keeping Lucy's health above 30%. Everyone acknowledged their tasks with a resounding understood. Zhoutai activated his skill, Frenzied Bloodsong, a berserker talent that boosted all attributes significantly when his health fell below 30% and reduced damage taken. The team unleashed a barrage of attacks in quick succession. Physical damage, 15,083 physical damage, 14,519 shadow damage, 13,774 magic damage, 13,343 magic damage. 78 Observing the results, Suong sensed something was amiss. "The black dragon's damage reduction buffs are too strong," Zhoutai shouted, evading another attack with agility. Behind him, the hooded thug boasted about predicting the attack, which infuriated Suong. "This guy has a knack for irritating everyone," Suong muttered to himself. Without hesitation, he redirected his focus to the priest standing in the rear and launched a dragon charge attack. Zhoutai intercepted the assault, causing Suong to question if he missed a chance to eliminate the support. While Suyang's attack was thwarted, the thug transformed into shadow form, significantly boosting his attack speed, critical hit rate, and dark attribute damage. He shouted defiantly, "Taste my strike," as he aimed for the vulnerabilities behind the dragon. The thug unleashed a flurry of strikes, dealing both physical and shadow damage. His most potent skill, Shadow Stab, known for toppling bosses with millions of HP in straight-tier instances, seemed strangely ineffective against the black dragon. "Why is my damage so minimal against this dragon? Is its damage reduction truly this formidable?" he wondered aloud. "Now it's your turn to reveal your vulnerabilities. Go to hell." The dragon retaliated by smashing the thug with its wing, dealing severe damage that left him with only 1% HP. He crashed defeated onto the ground, prompting everyone to rush to his side, amazed at how his luck had saved him yet again. Zhoutai, relieved that he had shielded the healer earlier, quickly ordered him to heal the injured thug. However, the dragon was not about to let them tend to their comrades so easily, clearly enraged by the thug's provocation. As the healer prepared to counter the dragon's next attack, he wondered, could this be the breath of annihilation? But why is it being used so early? Isn't it meant as a last resort ultimate skill when the dragon's health drops below 70%? Meanwhile, Suong continued to exploit his newfound power, unleashing one special skill after another. In the next moment, he launched a devastating attack that engulfed the entire battlefield in flames. When he checked the aftermath, to his surprise, everyone was still alive, and the healer was actively restoring the thug's health. He's still alive? But that move was supposed to be the Barrier Master's ultimate defense skill, Sanctuary, which reduces damage by 90% for allies inside and continuously restores health for 10 seconds, with a 360-second cooldown. The next breath of annihilation should finish us, Suong speculated grimly. He wondered why the boss wasn't following its usual pattern and seemed to have gained intelligence, understanding tactics, and exploiting vulnerabilities. Everyone was baffled by the dragon's unexpected behavior. Zhoutai questioned how a stone-tier boss could suddenly develop a strategic mind and alter its behavior. Meanwhile, the necromancer, floating in the air, disparaged everyone as useless trash before declaring he would intervene personally. Channeling his power, he began casting a formidable spell, summoning the bone dragon Malthus into the fray. This version maintains the flow of the narrative while clarifying the sequence of events and enhancing readability. And with that, we conclude this chapter. I hope you enjoyed today's content. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button. Let's aim for 200 likes on this video. Drop a comment below saying Part 3 if you're excited for the next installment. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.